Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another one that's being highly requested, which is actually it's two subjects in one video. One is the purchases from Paris, which hasn't really been highly requested, but the other part of it, which will be towards the end of the video, is about the VAT, the tax return forms. How does it work? Are things really cheaper in Paris or in France than they are here in the States? So basically answer all of those questions for you in this video, and I'll show you all of the purchases first, and then we'll jump into that portion. Okay, you guys, I did have plans to purchase some things, knowing that things are cheaper there, especially on French brands. So I'm not sure everything is cheaper in Europe, and the euro is kind of like fluctuating as the dollar is. So it's not always like worth more or less, but they're about the same. So knowing this, French brands are actually 20% cheaper when you buy there than when you buy here because of all the taxes, the import taxes that, go on between countries. Knowing that, there's also a 12% discount if you are not a France resident. So essentially, if you do not live in France, you can get 12% tax return. And this is true for here too. So if you are watching this from a different country and you're shopping here in the States, you can also do a tax return. You do not have to pay taxes in the states that you are in because you're visiting. You're not taking advantage of that tax because taxes are for the well-being of the population living in that particular city or country. And so it makes so much sense that they can return this to you. Now, there is a little bit of a catch in that, and that is about duty. So when you come back into United States, in this case, that's what we're talking about, you do have to declare your goods. Typically, they won't tax you if it's like under 5,000 or 10,000, I thought, but ta-da, I got taxed this time, you guys. I did have to pay duty. And so I have experienced both sides of the things. I have spent actually more the first time that I went to Paris than this time around, and I didn't have to pay duty there. I declared the equal amount for both times. And this time around, it really does depend on the officer that you see when you get back into customs in here. I'm already diving into the tax. So I will explain a little more of what happened towards the end of the video. Let's just dive into the purchases, shall we? Okay, the first one, I have been eyeing this beauty here, you guys. This is a Celine twin. If you guys do want a full review of it, I'll be happy to do it. I didn't bring the box. I only brought the bag folded, and it does have the dust bag in here. I just like keeping those in here just in case I want to sell it later on. It makes it better price and a better experience for people buying this, but I hardly doubt that I will sell this. But you never know. So I love the size of it. I'm not gonna get in depth about each one of them, but it's funny because I already bought a black bag not too long ago for Christmas, and I was just debating on whether I should get it in black, but it just looked so good. And I tried every single one in the store, every single finish and color. They have the one with the straw and then the leather piping around like in camel, super pretty too. But I just kept on going back to this. It just makes such a statement. It's such a popular bag right now. I really, really, really love it. So this one was 2,800 euros there, and I got 12% back. So you do the math in there. Here, this bag, the same bag, costs $3,650 plus tax. So you're looking into, I don't know, depending on the tax on your state, you add on like $300 in taxes. It's almost $4,000 in here. And there it was less than 2,500, so 2,464 was what I paid there once I got the tax return. Now you purchase the goods and then you pay the 2,800 at the store. So that's it. You get your tax return later on, put it back as a refund in your credit card, just so you guys know how that works. But yeah, that's how much difference it was. So truly like $1,500 less. That's really, really substantial if you're looking into purchasing things or maybe do a trip. And that was my line of thought. It's like I wanted to buy some bags that are really expensive in here. You know, by the time you save $1,500 in here, you purchase yourself a ticket to go to Paris. And then if you stay on a place more on a budget or with a friend, whatever, it's just, to me, it's so worth it. You get a vacation out of your shopping trip. So no brainer for me. Then on the same day, I got the Tom Ford palettes. So I showed this on my Instagram today. Actually, I'm wearing the palettes. This is the highlighting dual and color peach light. You guys, this is gorgeous. It's so, so beautiful. Obviously, you're not going to be able to see it from here, but these are just gorgeous. I had been eyeing them in the mall in here. Actually didn't have any intention of buying them there, but when I saw them, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect time to buy. And the same thing, this was so much cheaper there. I got this eye quad as well, which I do not need any more eyeshadows in my life, but this is so beautiful and the colors are just so amazing. I felt like these are great for like traveling, and it's just nice to have something a little more fancy, a little more luxurious in my makeup wardrobe. So these, I believe, were 80 euros in Paris, and they retail for 96 here in the States. So another little save. Then moving on, I was also looking for a belt from Saint Laurent or Saint Laurent, like they say it. And I ended up getting one. So this is the size 70, and it's just very tiny in my waist. They did have the black and other colors, but I wanted a light color, either camel or this bone color here, which is more of like a taupey. It just looks so beautiful. It has the YSL little logo in here in the belt loop, and it does not have another belt loop. I just realized that. Interesting. But it's just a pretty belt, and the same thing in here. It was so much cheaper there, I believe. So it was $295 in Paris, and I believe this is like 400 some here in the States, and I got the 12% back. I think I'm gonna be wearing this a lot through spring, and I've been looking for something that's just a little more simple, like in the buckle, instead of the, you know, usual Gucci. I have a ton of Gucci belts that are a little more bold. I wanted something a little more subtle. And that was my shopping day for the first day. So when I left the mall, that was at the Galeries Lafayette, and then I got all of the receipts, and then you have to validate it with your original passport. You have 3 days to validate those purchases, so just keep that in mind, that you can wait until the end of your stay, like if it is within that 3-day period, to validate it all at once, and that's what I did. So the next day or 2 days later, I went back, and then I stopped at Dior. I have been on a chase for sunglasses because, believe it or not, this pains me to say, and I can't believe I do this kind of stuff, but I lost like 3 or 4 pairs of designer sunglasses in the last 6 months. Just by going and shooting, I throw them all in the car, and then I shoot a look, and then I toss them, and then go. Somehow I've looked through my purses and I cannot find them. I'm sure they are somewhere in the pocket of a jacket, but they haven't showed up yet, and it's just really sad. So anywho, I decided Paris is gonna be it. I'm gonna get some, and I wanted some like new styles too. So the first pair that I found is this Dior here. I'm not sure what the style is, you guys, but I will leave the exact link down below. Now, this is pretty mind-blowing too. The price of this, I believe it was $330 or $337 at the store. And here it's like $510. It's some crazy difference too. Comes in a beautiful box, which typically you don't get the Dior boxes here. And these are nice. I like having them in my office for like pins or like post-it notes or like little things that I like to save, like little small things. It's just a nice little storage box. And usually what you get in stores here when you shop is the basic sunglass case. you know, that's really pretty too. And then you do get the dust, the lens cleanser or whatever, or a cleaning cloth. So this came beautifully wrapped up in tissue paper. In the bag, you get your little Dior bag too. She gave me a beautiful sample of one of those like high-end perfumes, not the usual Dior, but the ones that are more, I don't know how to call, like signature. So anyway, love these. I love the more discreet logo here. I did look at the ones that are like more popular right now, but they were so bold, I felt like it would take away from my outfit. So I decided on this one, and I love the square. I just thought it looked really good on me. And then in the same like she just showed me this because it was tied on a wrist, and I just couldn't resist, you guys. It's one of their little scarves, and this is a limited edition of the Dior scarf, and it has the cheetah print in one side and the Dior logo on the other side. And I actually have the sandals that are the same limited edition, the little slide sandals. That is the, you know, leopard print, and then the Dior on this, like black and beige. I don't know how to call this color, kind of like a latte. And it's so pretty. So I'm gonna have to show you guys different ways to wear this, but so cute, like on a white shirt, like a white button up. You can do a, you know, a little bow, or you can tie a knot. The way that they had it at the boutique, she just had this wrapped up around her wrist, and I just thought, I know, such a sucker. It was the cutest thing. It's like the cutest little accessory for spring. You can do a little bow in here, and I don't know, so cute. I can't remember from the top of my head how much this was, but oh, $195 there. I think it's well over like $300 in here. And then it comes in this cute little box. How adorable is this? Don't know why what I would use for this, but oh well. These were for the first day, and then later on I picked up a couple of other things. I got a Caudalie. So Caudalie is one of their French brands that it's made of like the sap of the grape, or everything that they make is from their vineyards. And when this I know because I used to work at Sephora, and we were trained on Caudalie, and their story is really wonderful. It's a couple that started in the vineyards of their own family. So it's family owned. I don't know if this is the case still, because this was quite a while ago, like I want to say 9 years ago. But their stuff is really popular in France, and it's really wonderful too. Like I love their skincare, and I really like the scent of this hand cream in here that I picked up. So this is another thing. I knew I was gonna pick up stuff at the French pharmacies. They're heaven, they're so good. I'm not sure I grabbed any footage from it this time around, but I mean, it's just well worth visiting. If you guys are in France, make sure that you stop in one in Paris and pick out some stuff, because things are actually much cheaper there too. Go figure. And then I picked up Avène. Avène is also a French brand, and it's really, this body lotion is so good. Last time I went, I picked up the Bioderma, and I really liked it. It's lightweight. This, I wanted something a little bit thicker because it was winter this time around, and last time it was summer when I went. So just different textures. Obsessed with this. So good, and it doesn't have a scent, so it's nice because it goes well with my perfumes or the other scents that I want to add on. But by the way, the smell of this cream is so good. I'm definitely writing it down and picking up some as gifts the next time I go to Paris. So I picked those up, and then towards the end of my stay there, I stopped at another pharmacy because I wanted to pick out some goodies to give away on Instagram. And I did. And so I picked out more things for myself and for Bella. This nuts, I don't know how to pronounce this in French, but it's one of those oils that's for face, hair, and body. And it has like all of this shimmer, this gold shimmer. It's just so beautiful. And I had this, the mini one that I bought on Amazon last year. And you guys were like, oh my gosh, you need to get the ones in Paris because it's so much better, you know? So I don't know. I decided to I got a little one to give away and then this one for me. So I'm excited for summer and just to put this on my body. I really like the other one from Amazon too. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be any difference between the products. And then I got the Avon lip balm too, which I'm just going to pop some in here because I've been wearing this lipstick for a while. This is very nice and comfortable on the lips too, without leaving that like extra shine or oily looking look into my lips. So really like this. I also picked up the gel like cleanser for my face. And this one is also from that Nux brand or Nuche brand. And it's with honey, sunflower, all the good stuff. So I'm excited to try. Haven't opened it yet. And then the last day that I was there, the last full day, it got really cold and we were walking around. That was the day that they had the strike. I don't know if you guys were following on stories, and it was just kind of crazy. And so we decided just to walk everywhere. We tried to get an Uber. The Uber would stop, like the streets were closed. It was just chaotic, but in an interesting way. I don't mind walking. If people do mind walking, then it would have been awful for you if you do, you know, don't like walking. But going to Paris, be prepared to walk a ton. As you could see on my previous video on what I packed, I'm advising you to bring all the sneakers, you know, just make them fashionable and then incorporate them. They're really high, like trending right now. So it's easy to just make them work. Otherwise, loafers, you know, any flat shoes work well. But when you have some cushion on the sneakers, really helps you to stay comfortable. And my feet, it did not get nearly as bad as the first time I went. I was wearing flats all the time and my feet got trashed, like no joke. You guys go back on the video and watch that because I'm talking all about it. So anyway, as I was walking, I passed by the Isabel Mahan store and I picked up this little outfit. I actually was in between two sweatshirts and one is the menswear and it's their collection, like their classic collection. I'm not sure if that's how they called, but it's like year after year, it's always in. And this one is the women's and I love this neckline here. I actually have this version on a t-shirt and I really like it, like a long sleeve t-shirt. And then I decided just to pick up the sweatshirt in this baby blue and the white logo in here. This is also so much cheaper, you guys. So I think I paid for this, it was $275 and then you get the 12% back at the airport. This was an independent boutique too, which that kind of, it has a different way that they do things, which I'll touch base on. So about $250 and then here it's like $375. Unbelievable. It's really crazy. So anyway, super cute. This is size 36. I got the small size because I wanted a little more room and it's perfect. And then as I'm going to the airport, I ended up returning my Triumph, my Celine skinnier glasses because I paid with taxes here and I was looking back into that $565. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to Paris. I'm just going to return this Sunnies and try to rebuy them in there, which I could have they're like $340 or $330 in Paris. And so this is another hack for the tax deal. Inside of the airport, they have Dior, Celine, Hermes, YSL, like Saint Laurent. They have so many boutiques inside of the terminal. I was flying Delta. I'm pretty sure they have all kinds of things all over the airport. It's just fabulous. And inside of the airport, if you purchase things there, they already have the 12% off because you're flying internationally. So even for French people or European people, when you're in the airport flying internationally, you can shop without tax. So it's duty-free shopping. So exciting because it's really truly different. Like you don't have to do the tax, you don't have to do the validation or wait for your return on your credit card. Anyway, I ended up picking this. They had different kinds of sunnies in there, different shapes, and they did have the one that I returned. But I think that this square shape fits better on my face. I like them to be a little bit bigger, and the other ones just a little more trendy. And I'm like, do I really want to spend this kind of money on something that's trendy, or should I stay with the classics? Even with the, you know, tie-on here, I feel like I would wear this for ways, you know, to go. Like it's more of a classic. It is the turquoise or tortoise style, like brown. So I got a brown and a black pair, and that should set me up well for summer. Okay, so these were all my purchases. I did go to Zara and I picked up 3 pieces, you guys. This trench coat, it's just simply amazing. I wore that in one of the days on top of my fringe blazer, and I love it. It's oversized. This is actually the size extra small, or I'm lying. Size small, and it does fit oversized. I love that it doesn't have seams on the sleeves, so you just stick in your sleeve, even if it's a bulky like a sweater or a sweatshirt, and it's perfect. It's perfect for traveling too. I will link this exact one in here. It was $89. Such a great deal. Okay, moving on to the part that you guys have all been waiting for. I will show you the tax returns and all. So I already told you guys how it works, but I wanted to kind of give you a more thorough explanation here, just in case you forward the video towards this portion. I want you to have all the information. So every French brand that you buy in France, Dior, Hermes, Celine, Saint Laurent, all of them, Chanel, are 12% or 20% cheaper in France. And that's because of the cost of the imports in here. So everything that you buy here in the United States will cost 20% more. When you're shopping in France, you also get 12% tax return because you do not leave in France. So therefore, the validation of that 12% back is what you have to do at the airport when you're leaving. So everything costs 20% less. If you don't care about the 12%, you do not need to go through this. But if you spent like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you can get like 500 some, dollars back to you, or euros. So to me, it was so worth doing it. I actually ended up buying a really nice pair of shoes for Bella with the tax return. So I recommend doing it, and it does not take more than 5 minutes. It's so easy. So how it works is when you're shopping in France, they will ask you if you want the tax forms, and you say yes. So I went to the Galeries Lafayette first, and most of these purchases were made at the Galeries Lafayette. And how it works is that every single shop that you go to will give you the receipts. So for every shop that you go to, they will give you, like Celine, they put your receipts in here. Saint Laurent, they put the receipts in here. Tom Ford, put the receipts in here, and so forth and so on, right? So at the end of your shopping, you take all of these with your original passport to the tax form or to the tax place inside of Galeries Lafayette. In there, once you validate everything, show your passport, you go to the machine, you do it all on your own, they will give you this. So they will essentially put a form together and list all of your purchases. And you may go back on the next day and do more shopping and then might have 2 of these. It doesn't matter how many of these you have, to be honest, you guys, it's totally fine. But this is an example of one. So it will have like this big barcode in here, and then a list of your taxes in here, or the purchases, the value and the tax refund, and then the value of it. Which, by the way, it says 20% here, not 12%, even better. So then you would leave them all with one of these forms to yourself. And then it lists everything, and then the total back, and that would be in this case here, $429.99. So $430. Okay, and then you keep this to show at the airport to validate your taxes. If you are doing shopping on independent boutiques, which is the case of the Mahan, they will give you something like this. So they already process it for you. You don't have to go like in the mall, you have to bring the little receipts. No, in the individual boutiques, which this is the case for Chanel when I purchased my bag last year, they just gave me the return like so. And then they will list the value and the amount that you're getting back to you. And then they will give you your personal receipts. So this one was only like $33, but it's really like, it doesn't cost anything to do it, guys. And since I was already doing it, it's so worth it, I think. So then you go to the airport. One thing is, you need to make sure that you have all of the purchased goods with you in your carry-on bag. So make sure that it's like anything that's more than 3.4 ounces, which is 100 milliliters, you won't be able to carry on with you. So what you should do is just before you check in your bags, you go straight to the VAT area, the taxes area. You can do this on your own. You go to the machine, select the language, scan your barcodes for every single receipt that you have, which in this case, all of my receipts were in this one for the mall. And then I only had this other one. You scan them, it tells you how you would like this refunded. And the easiest way for you, for your own sake, is to just do a credit card refund, because that way you won't have, most likely won't have to go through the officer and show all of your goods, and it's easier this way. But if you do choose to get cash back, you do have the option. But then the only thing is that you will have to get in the line and then stay in to see the officer. They will ask you if they want to see your goods or not, and then so forth and so on. I've only done the cashback in my refund in my credit card, so I don't know how the cashback works if it's actual cash. And so that's to be discovered at the next time. And I've never had to show my goods in Paris. So I was just there, it validated, it tells you whether they want to see you, or you can go have a good trip, bon voyage or whatnot. And then you go in and do your check-in. And that's all. What one of the ladies told me at the Galeries Lafayette is to take a picture of the screen that you do your tax refund, just for your own purposes, just in case you don't get it. Then you can kind of discover and fight back, or go dig for it. But I was able to get it the last time I was there. Then I'll answer the questions. So last time I went, which was July, I got an officer mail, and I told him the value was less than $4,000 that I spent there. And he's like, that's okay. And I'm like, I have all the documents. And he's like, no, don't worry. That's fine. Let me go without paying duty. This time around, I got a female officer, and I spent less. I think my total purchases, I told her 3,000 or between 3 and 3,500. To be honest, you guys, there's like some of these things that can be very personal. Everything in here could be personal, that it's not that I'm transporting things to sell, and that would be different. And that's why, I don't know, in my mind, can you get away with saying you didn't purchase anything? Yes, you can. Just for myself, like, I don't want to carry this guilt. I told them how much. Next time I'll probably do less things, or declare maybe just the biggest value, which was the bag. And so I told her how much, and she's like, okay. So she calls an officer, they take my passport, and then I'm freaking out at this point. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they gonna do? And he's like, well, you go pick up your checked bag. So when you get into the States at customs, you have to pick up your checked bag and then return it into the other baggage claim in there, so they can put it back and send it to wherever else you're going. So he wanted to see my goods. He's like, you need to go pick up your checked bag and then go see an officer there on the, number 14, I'll have your passport there. And I'm like, I don't understand. Why do you need to keep my passport? Because that's really scary. He's like, well, I don't know if you're going to run away. And I was like, wait, what? Where am I going to run away to? I actually told him that. And he's like, I don't know. You can just take off and get away from the airport. I'm like, what? Anyway, I mean, if he did say that, he was either joking, which he did not appear to be joking, or this has happened in the past. I don't know. Anyway, long story short, I picked up my bag and I went to see the officer, and it was such a sweet guy in there. He's like, don't worry, all you have to do is pay a little duty. How much was your purchase? And I told him I have all the documents. He's like, I don't need to see anything. I told him it was a $2,800 Celine bag. And he's like, okay, let's make it $2,200. This is how much it would be. And then he did the math there, It was $66 in duty that I had to pay. So you pay with your credit card, they give you the receipt, you're free to go. I have no idea, you guys, if some people have had to show the goods. And I do think that the bigger value that you have, they might want to see your purchases. So just keep that in mind. It can get a little, hard, especially if you're bringing a big value, or if you're doing commercial purpose shopping, then you will be taxed. But even for commercial, it is worth paying the duty, because I believe it's like 4% of your goods, unless it's like less than $10,000. Don't quote me on this. This is kind of what he explained to me. So to me, it's well worth it. You even get you got 12% back, and then you have to pay here 4%. To me, it's definitely worth the math. Even if I had to pay the duty for all of the little things that I bought, it would have been worth it. So, and then last year I didn't have to go through any of this, but I wanted to give you guys the prospect of both ways. It could go both ways. Like this time was less money and they wanted to tax me. It just depends on the person that you are seeing and how busy they are in a particular day or whatnot. So just keep in mind that might happen, but it's still worth doing it. I think I answered all of the questions. Please, please, please feel free to leave me comments down here if I haven't answered your particular question on taxes. Again, I'm not an expert, but I've done this a couple of times and it has worked really, really well. And anytime I want to shop for big things now, I'm just planning myself a trip to Paris. Let's all do this, right? Because you get a vacation out of it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to you and just fun seeing the purchases and helpful to answer the questions. Leave me your comments and questions below. And thank you so much for watching, you guys. I'll see you next time. Um beijo. Tchau, tchau.